Dave Dev, Dave Dev, Dave Dev. You're watching Dave Dev.
Boom! Welcome to today's desk. I'm Dave, this is my desk. And today we're talking about Tinuviel, the Twilight Breach. Courtesy of one MOC man Smitty. He requested that this be my first MOC I review on Dave's desk. So here you go, Smitty. You can stop complaining now. Alright, so let's get into it. So, for starters, she's a big MOC, and she's relatively stable. She's not the most stable thing, but she does stand on her own. The tail oftentimes is a good way to get her to stay up on her own, using the tail as sort of like a tripod. One of the biggest challenges was the feet. Trying to get like a dragon design that, foot that looked right. The other challenge was the fact that this is in that spring yellowish green that Lego, I don't remember exactly what Lego calls it, yellowish green. There's not a lot of parts in that color, so my options were kind of limited, and even as far as that part goes, I actually had to supplement it with lime green. So there's actually some lime green mixed in. You'll see it like on her wings. You can see it here, like on the back of her wings a lot more. There's actually some lime green mixed in here. And her wings are pretty posable too. So there's sort of different segments, and the idea is you kind of want to layer it all. You want to fold it out and then kind of layer the elements into each other. Was kind of how that was supposed to work. I was thinking like, okay, could she actually fly with these wings? And I actually decided, yeah, I don't know if she would actually fly. Maybe she could flap real good and get a little airborne, jump high. Not fly, jump good. This happens a lot too. These always want to come off. So that's a bit of an issue there, but it was how I could get the toes to work. One of the things I really tried to get right was the weapon. I wanted the whole MOC to feel like magic meets technology was the idea. So the idea here is that the elves from like Lego elves were invaded by humans like 200-300 years into the future from when I think her name is Emily. When the human comes to the elf world and the whole isekai type of setting, I wanted the idea to be that the humans found a way back, and now they're super technologically advanced, and they're coming back to take over the magic world for like resources or to learn magic and whatnot. So the idea is that the elves and the dragons, or maybe like the elves get like taken out first, but then the dragons are like, okay, well we have to evolve or whatever. So they sort of take on more human form, and they start taking over technology. So the idea is that she's wearing like a space suit, battle suit type thing, but it's infused with magic, and then her rifle is also magic, but also technological. So as you'll see, it just popped off. So her hand is actually attached to the rifle, and then it's just a ball joint. I found a nice cheeky little way of getting this to work. You can actually shove an axle into a Takadak's head. So, yeah, that's not necessarily a legal connection, but it's a connection that works, so I did it, and it actually made the arm look really good. So here you can see what the hand looks like normally, without any firearm or weapons in it. And then we'll set her down. We'll just stick you back here for a second, and I'll show you the gun a little bit better. So the idea here was that there's like a screen that she could input commands, and she can actually swap out the different types of like fire patterns or magic. And the idea was also that I have all this stuff here. So like for example, you could swap out to like red magic or like green, and depending on what they do, you know, what you select depends on what they do. So you've got green ones here. And to facilitate this, what I did is I went on Bricklink and I went through like the decorated categories for like different sections to kind of see what I could do. Like for example, I actually had this part from Goblin King Escape, I believe. I'll put it up on screen. I actually had this from an elf set, and that's kind of what started this idea. But then I went on Bricklink and found this one and went with purple because purple is more her color. But she could switch to this one, she could switch to this one, or this one for the gun. And then the idea is they would have different like magical properties. On her arms, she has some discs that you can see. And the idea there is that these are like power-ups. So that like her own magic, her power suit could channel different magic as well. So I went in and grabbed different printed parts and bought them on Bricklink. And so this could be like time magic, for example, since these are like weird, goofy clocks or whatever. Right now, she's got the clouds on there, so that could be like storm magic, or like she can control the weather. And that actually means normally she can throw these like ice shurikens, which are from Ninjago. And these are the ones that should be on there by default. This sort of moon color. But I have the clouds on there just because that's what happened to be on there last when I took pictures. So to get more into the MOC itself, the other thing I really want to point out, because it was a big point of contention, was this scale mail armor. I think I rebuilt each one of these sections probably 7 different times just to try and get it all right. And I think there's like 35 individual shield pieces on each one. So it's 70 on each side. Yeah, I ended up rebuilding those things a lot. So she is missing her hand. It's on her gun, but you know we'll leave it there because it's too much trouble to pull it all off. She is pretty posable. These shoulder pads, they move so that she can stretch out her arms. And the Galador, what is this? Euripides. This is sort of the centerpiece of the whole build. Was this Galador part? That's actually sort of the seed part that got me building the whole thing. Because I'm like, I had this big chunk of plastic. How do I use it? And my creative solution was to use sockets. And there's actually on the inside of her the little rubber. What are they? These guys right here, the little rubber lift arm pieces, one on each side, kind of sandwiches the sockets, and it kind of slots into the neck part, and then that was what gave me sort of a building platform to work off of, and it went from there. And then I built out the whole back. Yeah, so that's sort of the core of the build is the Euripides Galador armor piece. I've seen people use it a few times here and there, but like I hadn't really seen anybody like integrate it in like into a build. I just kind of seen people build off the Euripides part, but maybe somebody else has done it as well that I'm not aware of. If you've seen anybody build with the Galador Euripides part, leave me a comment down below with a link, and I'll check that out. But yeah, this came first, and I kind of built up that. Then I kind of built the hips, and then I knew I wanted this pretty early on. So what I did is I built it, and then I actually built the legs sort of around fitting in there. If you take it off, the legs actually don't look that good. I'll be honest. They kind of get real thin and skinny to kind of accommodate for this, but you know, it's all in service of the greater vision of the MOC. You know, this is never supposed to come off, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like underneath. It's held together with this little chain piece, and what actually supports it is the 10 by 10 net pieces, and they're actually snapped in, sort of sandwiched in between the net, and then parts on the back hold it all in. And it's fairly sturdy. I don't have any issues with anything popping off. But then we've got a tail back here. I wanted her to have a tail. And to kind of bridge the gap, this is, what is this? This is actually the cover from the Fiat 500. I used one here, and then I used one up here on the back in here to kind of bridge the gap on the Galador armor. But one of the things I love is that her wings are superposable. You can get them to fold up like you saw at the beginning, and then they fold out and they flap. So her wings have pretty good mobility as well. The tail, I just kind of made it simple. I just used CCBS with a little bit of embellishment there at the end. These actually came from, what is it, the hidden side is where we got all the claw piece and that yellowish green. So shout out to Hidden Side for giving us more yellowish green. That's also where these came from too, is from Hidden Side. And then these are the same wings that came from the head from the dragon that her head is based off of. So I went and bricklinked a bunch more so that I could kind of fill out the wings. What else? One of the details I wanted is that she's like sort of like a military commander. So I have these little insignias here that's just different printed 1x1 tiles. But I don't know, maybe they mean something in universe. I haven't thought that deeply about it. So there's that. But these are from what is it, Lego Dots, the wristbands. And I actually really like the way those look on here because they framed the shoulders really well, and it looks good on the back too because it's kind of like these like straps that are. It feels very military, military tactical type of situation. So I'm really happy with how that came out. But overall, she's a fairly sturdy figure. The legs aren't as especially on the hips. She's got kind of weak hips, but like I said, you can get her to stand up. It's just a balancing game to get her to do it. She's mostly stable, but she's even more stable, like I said, if you get the tail in there to prop her up. But yeah, that's Tinuviel. What are some lessons we can learn from Tinuviel? Don't be afraid to experiment. Definitely go grab your weird part. Figure out where weird connections exist, where they might not be obvious. That's an interesting lesson. Don't be afraid to play with texture. Grab your rubber parts, grab your string, grab your fabric. Even if you're not trying to do like a cloak or a hood, or you don't need a cape or anything like that. Sometimes just a little bit of fabric can help bridge a gap where nothing else really makes sense. So like right here, that came in real clutch to just kind of make this all one solid garment instead of it being a huge gap there. So, and then this being rubber makes it super flexible. It means I wrapped it around her shoulder and connected it at sort of a weird angle back onto itself. So, also, there's these rubber, video, the straps for the video cases. I did that to get some more texture in there and also just get some more green on Tinuviel's wings. So, yeah, don't be afraid to play with texture. Grab your weird parts. Use connections where they might not be obvious. this is a fairly good example of color blocking. I understood that I wanted, since he's a dragon and dragons are like dual colored in like the elves theme, I knew that the top part was going to be yellowish green. On the original dragon that this comes with, her mouth is violet, like that magenta color, and I didn't want that. Violet or magenta, just there wasn't enough there to work with, and I knew I needed something that complemented the green a little better, so I went with medium azure, which is this color. Try different colors, and this is also supposed to be part of her skin. So the idea is the top half of her is yellow, and the bottom half is blue, and then so like if she wasn't wearing her armor, her belly would be blue, and it would come down through the tail, but then the legs would be yellow, yellowish green. And then on the legs, I actually have a little bit of blue, and a little bit on the wings too. That's right here on the wings. I did that mainly because I just wanted there to be like little specks of blue, but also just it meant I had those parts in those colors and it worked. So, like the sockets that actually hold on her feet are blue. So it just meant I could use parts that I had and didn't have to mess with other colors. And so yeah, that's Tinuviel, and I think that will be it for this episode of Dave's Desk. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Hey, you were gonna leave this video without liking and subscribing. Not cool, man. Like the video and subscribe so that I can see growth on this channel and make more videos. Do you want more videos? Alright, that's what I thought. So push the little red subscribe button and push the little thumbs up button, and that'll help my channel out. Thank you, and have a nice day.